Hello everyone, welcome back to another video talking geeky stuff. This video is my final thoughts of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Spoiler alert, there will be some spoilers. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll probably talk about the ending because the ending is amazing. So I'll talk a bit about that. So for anyone who hasn't finished the game, please finish it and then come back if you have time and watch this video. So you have been warned, spoiler alert. So I remember I did a video about a month and a half ago or 5 weeks ago where I was about 30 hours in playing Tears of the Kingdom and I was saying how great it was. It's taken on my life. And so I finally finished it last night. And I think I checked it about 145 hours overall. I clocked up that much hours. I've not 100% it yet. Done most of it. I just wanted to get, as much as I can done. And and just finished the game about 145 hours in. If like me, what I did before, like Breath of the Wild, did about 145 hours again, finished the game, I went back into kind of almost 100% at. That's where it took me nearly 200 hours. So I'll do the same thing here. So I'll finish the game, and just to get it over with, because I don't know, I think it was consuming my life, but in a good way, in a good way. And now I kind of relax a bit and just play it here and there, and just try to maybe get the Korok seeds, get as much shrines done, helping what's his name, Addison, with his signposts, just bits and pieces like that. So definitely go back in and do some side quests and probably rack up another 20, 30, 40 hours of that. So my final thoughts, this is nothing like a professional review or anything like that. All I can say is this game, it's on a different level. If anybody followed my video, then I did my top 10 Zelda game about a year and a half ago. My favorite Zelda game of all time before the Breath of the Wild was Ocarina of Time, and then Breath of the Wild took over. But of course, the more I thought about it, the more like Ocarina and Breath of the Wild was kind of fighting for top spot. But this one is easily my favorite Zelda game of all time. I mean, all three of those games I mentioned, Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, this had the same effect on me. I just couldn't stop playing. I was thinking about it when I was even back in 90 on the Nintendo 64. I was in university, my final year as well, and I should be really playing because I had a lot of exams. I was thinking about at university. I was thinking about just all the time. Breath of the Wild had the same effect, and now this one had the same effect. I'm working and I'm thinking about it. I'm sleeping and I'm thinking about it. How do I tackle this? How do I do? What am I going to do? I'm planning my kind of routes, where I'm going to go, and so on. In a way, it kind of took over me, and in a good way. I'm glad it did. I'd rather a game take over me than say some drugs or alcohol or gambling or anything like that. So this is the best possible way. And this game just blew me away. And I mean, the graphics, I've said many times, I love the art style, very kind of almost Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli style, which is amazing. Love that kind of watercolor painting, like almost pastel color. The surrounding world's amazing. It just feels bigger than Breath of the Wild with the sky islands and the chasms. Speaking about the chasms, I haven't even explored all of that yet. I don't even think I've explored all of the sky islands either. I mean, you go into this world, we know as Hyrule from Breath of the Wild, but at the same time, you see certain similarities, but it's also very different at the same time. You got all the kind of, I mean, it's been 6 years, so you kind of had to get back into the action, which I loved about just like Breath of the Wild, the whole like the plateau and this bit. They spend the first few hours just kind of like tutorial how to get back into the game, and then you got these added extras like the hand, going through the ceiling fusion and all of that cool stuff as well, adding so much layers to the game. And this game actually runs a lot smoother. You can see the graphics more higher fidelity. It's consistently looking at 30 frames. Yeah, a couple of things, slow down a little bit, but there was no time that I felt it was literally bogged down the game. There was no time I felt that way. Where in Breath of the Wild, you can see there was a few scenes where it really kind of struggled a lot because it was, remember, Breath of the Wild was built for the Wii U, and this one was built from ground up for the Switch, and you can clearly see the extra power that really played into it. Love the new kind of designs here and there, like, but at the same time feel so familiar. Just so many things, and just the fusion hands, just small little things, just like you can build a cart and take people with you, and then added extras, and the shrines for some bizarre reason seem to be quite brand new, and I love the temples again. So he kind of had a mixture of. I remember, there's a lot of people back in the day was complaining about Breath of the Wild had no temples or stuff like that, and this one has a combination of both, shrines to temples and so on. Great surprise. I tried to stay away from a lot of spoilers, which I did. When you found out there was a fifth sage, that was cool. And then watching all the tears, the flashbacks. I tried to watch them in order, of course. Sometimes it's always out of order, but I try to watch them and get the tears in order. And I'm lucky that I stayed spoiler free about Zelda. Again, guys and girls, spoiler alert, she's a dragon that flies around from the beginning. And heartbreaking scene was when you had to jump on the back and pull out the Master Sword, because just it had so much impact to it, just like the first game. How you pull out, the hearts, kind of like you need to have enough hearts and so on. Speaking about this, I actually made another slide, which I totally forgot. This is what happens when Zelda takes over. Let the trailer play as well. And then the impact, this one had, you pulled my strings, the heartstrings a bit more, because you're pulling it out, the sword out, and Zelda Dragon was kind of crying in pain. So that was quite a touching moment. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in the final fight with Ganondorf, I mean, if there was one criticism, I think really minor criticism with Breath of the Wild, was the final boss wasn't that tough. I'm not saying Ganondorf was extremely hard. It wasn't. It was just enough. It was just hard enough, but not too hard. It wasn't too easy. And I love the fact that you had to fight 3 different forms. The base, it's almost like Super Saiyan or something, like the base form, and then the demon form, and then finally, I mean, for some bizarre reason, I didn't really connect. I suppose I was so immersed in the game, I just forgot about this. He ate the tear or the stone, and then he turned to the dragon. I was like, oh wow, okay, it comes full circle. And that's one good thing about this game. It just tricks you and kind of like takes you on this way, and you kind of forget everything goes from full circle. Then of course he takes you up in the sky between the teeth, and Zelda comes for the rescue and so on. So I don't think I died. I only died maybe once or twice, but I didn't die too much because, like I said, the ending wasn't the fact that it was too hard or too easy. It's just the impact of it, going through the different levels or different versions of Ganondorf, and finally getting Zelda to assist you in beating the dragon, and the final scene where Sonya and Rauru comes in the spirit form, helps you kind of convert Zelda back to Zelda, and your arm goes back to normal. And then the scene where suddenly he wakes up from the trance or something, and then suddenly they're falling down the sky, and you see Zelda, you got to catch her. Like I said, it comes back in full circle. I mean, at the beginning of the scene where he tried to grab her, he misses her, but this time he catches her. And he lands in the water and carries up. I thought that was a very touching and very emotional moment. I thought it was great. So the ending was actually one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Zelda ending that I remember, because he had like a good challenging boss. He also had a lot of emotion behind that as well. So combination of 2 things at once. Now, if I had to give this a score, I mean, I remember giving Ocarina of Time 10 out of 10. I even give Breath of the Wild 10 out of 10. And I give this 10 out of 10. So if I was to really break it down, let's just say Ocarina of Time was 10 out of 10. I give Breath of the Wild 10.5 out of 10. I'd probably give Tears of the Kingdom 11 out of 10 if I had to really go beyond that. Yeah, this and yeah, so I was 145 hours in. Finished it. I did about I'll say 70 to nearly 80% of the game. Now that I can relax a bit, it's a bit off my mind because I was working and doing so much other things. So when I got time, I spent 2 hours, 3 hours here. But sometimes I will spend more than that. It's one of those games where you just time does not exist somewhere. You just don't realize. Oh my god, it's 5 hours down the line. I mean, this is one of the best points about this and Breath of the Wild was you can play your own pace. I can go in there. I can see. Okay, my main objective is here. So I do one of the stories, say one of the tiers, or get one of the sages and do one in the temple. And then I just go around saying finding a Koroks or looking for a shrine or help, fight off goblins and so on. Finding outfits over here, checking out some place in the chasms. So you kind of play at your pace. You can take your time, or you can rush into things, or you can just there's no sense of panic, because you have control of the speed you want to go, the speed you want to end the game. So this is one of the few things that I think Nintendo kind of almost mastered now. It's like, especially the Zelda games, is you play at your own pace. There's no rush in a certain sense, and when you do rush, it's because you want to rush. It's not because the game is rushing you to play. Hope that makes sense, right? So yeah, this game is just, I didn't want it to be over, but like all good things, everything must end. And off topic as well, I've been reading some article, which is a shame because wherever there's a successful game or something successful, right, you always get a lot of people who just hates on it just for the sake of hating on something. And with social media and YouTube, I've seen a lot of people do that. It's just a shame because some people call them haters or PlayStation fans, Xbox fans, PC fans, whatever you want to call it, right? And read some of these comments, it's just hating on Zelda for no reason. It's just because it's a successful thing. I mean, first and foremost, I'll say to people who don't like Zelda, go just hate on it first, play the game first, then make a judgment. If you don't like it, fine. You're allowed. Everyone is allowed not to like a game. Not Zelda is not everyone's cup of tea, but just hate on it just for the sake of it being popular. I've been reading certain user reviews, like 0 out of 10 proper, what do you call it, review bombs, saying that this is rubbish. 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, or even 0 out of 10. I mean, it's so obvious that they're just review bombings, and even some of the Final Fantasy 16 fans out there were really trying to play Zelda down. Look, I have Final Fantasy 16. That's my next game to play. I'm really looking forward to it, and I heard good things about that. So, would it be better than Zelda? I don't know because I haven't played it yet. So I'll make a judgment once I played and complete Final Fantasy 16. Who knows? What I'm trying to say, as a gamers, this might be Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, or even PC. Have some respect for each other. Play the game first. If you don't like it, fine, but at least try it. I mean, I'm reading some articles out there for Starfield fans. Talking about Starfield is going to be the best game ever, X, Y, and Z, whatever. And yet they ain't even played it yet. Starfield has not been available, so it's kind of weird. Anyway, and also another article I read where this is from Zelda fans. They wanted the producer, Eiji Aonuma, and the director, apologies, don't remember his name, to be fired because they don't like this whole, what they said that they're going to make Zelda going forward open world. And I'm like, really? You want them to get fired? I don't know. I mean, think just like Mario franchise, right? There's room for everyone. And you got your 3D games, you got your 2D games, even got your RPG games, like the Paper Mario, and of course the remakes of RPGs coming out. You got the sports games. Zelda could coexist with this open world, and you got your kind of like the Ocarina of Time linear style. They can coexist. Okay, guys and girls. So calling for those who get fired is stupid, ridiculous. Okay. Anyway, my rant over. I'd just like to say thank you everyone for watching. Please do subscribe for more talking geeky stuff. Until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are in the world. And please stay safe. Goodbye.